What is going on? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be doing our Cleveland Browns 7-round mock draft. If you are new, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the community. We're growing at a great rate, and I really appreciate you guys for that. We're on the road to 16, if not 20K, and so I'm super excited for that. Below my face is my board. It is a completely transparent, honest opinion of guys who I'm studying, and it is, of course, being updated as I continue evaluating players. Of course, I back that up with all 22 clips over on my X page, so feel free to go follow it there. If you do want to support the show, go send the $10 that you'd be wanting to send to me and go over to UnderDog Fantasy and use the code HAILMARY when you sign up. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you sign up as well. They send me $60, and then you get to end up having a little bit extra skin in the game, potentially even winning some money, but play legally, play responsibly. Let's get into this. And before I start this, of course, there is the idea that Myles Garrett will be traded. So I'd be a buffoon not to send him in this. And we're going to be doing a post-free agency 7-round mock draft as well. Let me know what creators that you would want for this. And so I'm going to go with the choice that I think is a little bit of a dark horse, but I really love. And that's the Buffalo Bills here. Like, I really love the idea of going a 1-2, maybe a 1 here. But, like, again, I think 1-2-1 is perfectly adequate. I think for this sake, you could go the 1-2-2 route. It is possible. I'm not gonna do it though. But you can end up maybe tossing like a future 3 or some BS like that. All right. But we're gonna let Myles Garrett be a part of this deal here. And again, it's for fun, right? Feel free to negotiate your own terms in the comment section below. I do think Myles Garrett does want to get out, and it's understandably so. But for the sake of this video, we get an extra first and extra second, and I think that's gonna be super fun. So there we go. The trade has been in. Cam Ward goes #1 overall, which is so good because I was praying to God that we did not have to deal with not having Abdul Carter here. This is a live mock draft, of course. And so we're going to go Abdul Carter at #2 overall. Number 30. So some really good players have fallen into our lap, which is going to be the case for every single pick that we're going to have here. But the Cleveland Browns have built up their identity through the run game, and that requires offensive line talent, and it requires high-end running back talent as well. I will be doing my best to, apart from like pick 1 or pick 2, because I think it was realistic for Cam Ward to go #1, I'm going to be changing up the picks as much as possible to make sure that you guys are not just going to be like, oh, well, LeJounte Wester is ranked really far down, so every single mock draft I'm going to slam him. That's not cool. So I'm not going to waste y'all's time. I'm not going to waste mine either. But regardless, we need to get offensive line. We need to get running back. We need to get some good position value as well. But I'm going to go after Amari Hampton here out of North Carolina, who is my #7 player in the class. If we want to look at it, it's not pretty in terms of what the situation is at running back. I'll actually pull it up for us right now because we might as well continue referencing it. And, I think Cleveland's in a good spot in terms of the fact that people have finally accepted that you guys need to be. There we go. We're now on Our Lads. You guys know what's good. I love Our Lads to death. I hope you guys do as well. But the running back situation, not looking great, right? 3 of the guys up for contract, including one that unfortunately is not where he was. Quarterback absolutely needs to be on the table, but there's just so many quarterbacks that we can snipe down the board. These ads are absolute ass cheeks as well. Deny your cookies, but then they'll end up putting some weird stuff there. But yeah, regardless of that, it's so good to see Isaiah McGuire up here, but with Myles Garrett gone, you end up adding Abdul Carter. I still think we could end up adding another piece into here. Denzel Ward probably will request a trade, but it'll be a mid-season. There's no way I could see them doing it twice in the same draft, but Emerson, love him. Of course, Newsome going to be coming up on a contract next year, so we've got to look at that potentially as well. Luckily, this is the class for that. Regardless, we're sitting here at #33, and we need to address that left tackle spot. Again, let's look at what the left tackle spot looks like right now. Yeah, not good. Not good at all, right? Like, you got DeJuan Jones, who could potentially kick there, right? And again, apologies for the ads, guys. This is just a site that they slam you with ads, but it's a good way for you guys to have quick reference on everything, including myself. But you got Conklin and Jones, and again, you need some extra help. And honestly, I would love to get some potential guard flexibility. So I'm looking at Donovan Jackson here, and I think it's perfect because worst case scenario, you get high-end guard, but I thought he did really well as a tackle, especially for the amount of time that he was playing there. At #62, we're back. And again, this is where I wouldn't have debated getting Ozzy Trapilo because I took him in my Titans 7-round mock draft. But we can end up looking at the QBs here. We have 67 and 94. I'm looking at it at 94 if possible. My hope is that Jalen Milroe gets slipped to that point. Worst case scenario, we're getting Jackson Dart, right? Like worst case scenario. So again, so far for a quick recap, Carter, Hampton, Jackson. Awesome, right? Like really, really good value there. Now we could go for more of a power back like Quinchon and just totally revamp the backfield, but I just don't think that's going to be a good return on investment. Like, let's go back to the roster and see what else that we can do. Again, for the love of God, the ads are insane. Quarterback, we're addressing it with one of the next 2 picks. You got offensive line that we've already essentially addressed as well. Slot wide receiver, I don't know if Elijah Moore is going to want to stay, so we absolutely could be in the market for one of those. I don't trust David Bell to be a number 1 guy. I was really hoping for Jamari Thrash to be better this year and kind of take the throne as like a legitimate contributor. So I do think wide receiver should at least be considered, but I mean, with so many guys like Kyle Williams, you could talk about Chim DK, but Efton Chisholm here. Of course, you got LeJonte Wester, which I will not be drafting in this. You could absolutely find really good value later on. I think we should be ignoring that position. I know some people have talked about some defensive interior talent. You got Darius Alexander here, but if you're rebuilding, you don't want a 25-year-old. I've also heard some love for the tight end position, right? And the tight end position, you are losing a notable amount of guys. And David Njoku, backed up by Harold Fannin, I know we could play the board and get him at the next pick, but I really like that. So Harold Fannin will be one of the next 2 picks. Of course, with the corners, I think we can't ignore it either. And you got Max Harrison, you got Azareye'h Thomas here. And Azareye'h Thomas being able to learn from Denzel Ward sounds awesome to me. He is one of my favorite players in the class. You guys can actually see him right now at number 19 on my board. We're going to go after Azareye'h Thomas and then let him grow and develop. And of course, I hinted to it. We are actually going to roll the dice and see which quarterback falls to 92. And you can go after Arroyo here if you want, but I'm going to be going after my tight end 2 in the class, Harold Fannin Jr. I think he's a very underrated blocking tight end. And, he's not going to be a primary blocking tight end, but he is not useless as a blocker. And I think he's fantastic, right? Bowling Green in Ohio as well, so it'd be good to keep him there. At number 94, this is going to piss people off because everyone's going to say go Jackson Dart at 102 over Jalen Milroe here. Your offensive coordinator literally has worked with Jalen Milroe. I already took Will Howard before to the Titans. I'm not going to do it again. And so it makes too much sense. And again, the beauty of this, and I really want to emphasize this to you guys, you can put Jackson Dart here if you want. Like, take whatever quarterback you want, and it's going to be fine. But I'm going to take Jalen Milroe based on the scheme with the comfortability with the new offensive coordinator. I'm going to do that. Again, if you really want Jackson Dart, by all means, go Jackson Dart. So this is quarterback. Maybe not, Jackson Dart. Maybe not Jalen Milroe, but one of the 2. Because again, Will Howard, I'm counting out because I already selected him beforehand. But at 102, quick recap of what we've done because we've already taken a lot of picks. Abdul Carter, Amari and Hampton, Donovan Jackson, Azareye'h Thomas, Harold Fannin, and Jalen Milroe, addressing a lot of our needs with excellent value. And we have so many picks. Like, this is just going to be an absolute crapshoot in terms of value here. Let's look at the defensive back room because I want to take a double check to see if we could end up getting some good depth here. And honestly, at nickelback, because Greg Newsome might be coming due in the next year, if I'm not mistaken, based on him being drafted in 21. I actually really like that idea. There's a lot of really good slot corners in this class, to be fair. Like Makuba played a flex of deep safety as well as slot over his career and has done a phenomenal job. So I'm debating going that route, but at the same time, you might want to have someone who's a little bit more of an enforcer to be behind Grant Delpit for the long run. So there's a lot to debate here. I just love Andrew Makuba and would love to see him. But of course, Makuba also more of a warm climate kind of dude. I actually like the idea of throwing the curveball here for Upton Stout. We're not going to have a chance to get him at 164 most likely. And Upton Stout is about around 100 on my board. He's a friend of the show. He actually slid into my DMs like 2 days ago. So shout out to my homie here. But he's somebody who's extremely smart, very flexible, good against the run as well. And he's someone who needs a little bit more development. And then I think he'll be actually worth starting. So this is a really good investment that you can make there at 102 overall. At number 164, I could have, again, waited. I know how the board's going to fall, but I like to be relatively realistic, and I do think that, we had to take the shot on that scheme comfortability. But regardless, at 164 overall, got to get down there first. We could even look at another running back. We could look at some more offensive tackle depth right here. Jack Nelson, from Wisconsin, I think would be really nice. You got a Johnny Cornelius who could also have that guard versatility. The thing about Jack is that, to be fair, we have so many picks coming up. We don't need to force them because there's a little bit of a cushion. Worst case scenario, we draft Hall and Pierce at like 199. I kind of like that. I kind of fuck with it, to be honest. I kind of like that a lot. This is a good time to take our slot receiver if there is a good one on the board. Nick Nash, he didn't really wow me in any way, shape, or form. I think Efton Chisholm at like 191 would be good. Dante Thornton as a deep threat would be sick, but I just don't really see it working necessarily. I'm trying to think of the prototype that would work in this offense or what you guys would value above maybe where the draft board would suggest. But we could look as well. We've already drafted 2 defensive backs, but again, with Jalen Smith here, you could also go for a little bit more physicality. We already addressed like running back, but again, at this point, do you want to go after another running back that has maybe a little bit more power to him? There's certainly that question that you need to ask, because I'm looking at Taj Brooks and he's built like a brick shit house. The guy is an absolute unit. But let's take another peek. Before we make any final decisions. Devin Bush, we could get a backup Will/Sam linebacker here. Honestly, this class is kind of goated for that. You got Cody Simon there, but like I'm looking at Danny Stutzman. Jay Higgins, honestly, is really good value here as well. I like getting the depth at this point, man. Let's get the depth. Let's get a really good player here in Jay Higgins, who's just been rock solid. I know it's not excellent value, as PFF would try to say, but I think it's nice. It's good to have a player of that caliber, he is just the captain of that defense 2 years in a row, doing a fantastic job. He's not sexy, but he sure as hell is reliable. Jack Nelson's going to be my next pick here. I know we already took an offensive tackle in Donovan Jackson the first, but you need tackle depth. At 178, you're not drafting starters, you're drafting guys to grow and develop. Jack Nelson has all the potential in the world for me to be able to be well worth that selection. Another pick, 191. Let's continue developing some depth here. Not taking Braden Swinson because I just cannot see him slipping this far. You watch the tape, I just don't understand how you could say that. There has to be something off the field. But everyone else who I know, who are LSU fans, say that there's nothing that they know of. So I'm going to go after the brick shit house in Taj Brooks. I think he complements Omari and Hampton very well. So we're going to go Taj Brooks, who is at that 230-pound mark. And I saw him in person. This dude he's like wider than the offensive lineman, but explosive. He's a rare explosive athlete at his size with really good vision. At number 199, Myles Frazier here could just continue developing the interior of the offensive line. We got Jack Nelson as tackle depth with Donovan Jackson, but I do think the interior of the offensive line could absolutely use some player like Myles Frazier. But at the same time, you're looking at Ty Felton here, and that could be someone that you want to develop as well. Efton Chisholm, I have not taken the slot receiver yet, have I? I have not. So sitting here at 199, I think Efton Chisholm would be quite nice. Like, I know that if you guys haven't seen this dude, this guy fucking balled out at the Shrine Bowl. I was like, who is this man? But he might not be the fastest guy in the world, but this dude just absolutely slices and dices. Unfortunately, we will not see him at the Senior Bowl, at the Combine. Makes no sense to me, but this guy is awesome. Again, there's so many good receivers. I would take LeJontay Wester in a heartbeat, but I already took him in my last video. So we're going to go Efton Chisholm here at number 199. At number 215, Dante Thornton just went. We honestly could go another QB. Like, if we're just being real right now, looking at the QB situation, what is Zappy? It's a RFA? Okay. So we have DTR, and then we got RFA here in Bailey Zappi. I honestly think this is a good spot to take a shot on another QB. Max Brosmer has some super high-end reps, so I absolutely think he should be in the equation here. Curtis Rourke, super high floor. Tyler Shuck, honestly, has some really nice throws. And you know what? Tyler Shuck's been pretty focused on like the warmer areas. I'm going to trust Max Brosmer in the cold more than anything. He actually had some really nice throws there at the Shrine Bowl as well. At number 216, so we know that nobody has been taken off the board because this is our back-to-back pick. Looking at the guys who are left, I'm looking very heavily into RJ Mickens here because RJ looked really solid as well. I believe he was at the Shrine Bowl, but could be that depth, strong safety that we were looking for. And I really like this game. Oronde Gadsden, to be fair, he's rated way too low, but I'm going to save him for another video because Oronde Gadsden, like, he is really fun, but we already took a tight end that I really like in Harold Fannin. We're going to go RJ Mickens here and show some love to him. So, 256, the final pick of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant. Who is it going to be? Nick Martin is the guy who instantly jumped out to me, but looking at the players that we have taken, because we got to get that quick little recap because there's a billion dudes. We got our top tier edge. We got 2 running backs, the Maureen Hampton as well as Taj Brooks. We got our future left tackle, the future Donovan Jackson, with a backup there, and Jack Nelson to be a swing tackle as well. We got our future at corner and Azareye'h Thomas, technically Upton Stout as well in the slot, because I am worried about Denzel Ward saying bye-bye. Of course, we got our top-end tight end weapon, Harold Fannin. We got some quarterback competition with Jalen Milroe as well as Max Brosmer. And then, of course, we ended up getting a linebacker in Jay Higgins to be reliable, our slot receiver in Efton Chisholm, and some good safety depth in RJ Mickens. So, overall, really, really good group of guys. I think, honestly, looking at the linebacker situation, let's see, we need a Will. And honestly, I really liked Nick Martin in person. He flies. I mean, he's 220, but he flies. This is someone who you absolutely want to develop as your will linebacker. Good in coverage as well. We're going to take him there at 256. So, I earned it. Dude, it says I earned an award. I just, give me some. Like, give me a discount, homies. But, again, just doing a quick little overview of what happened. You got Abdul. We traded Myles Garrett for this package. Again, feel free to adjust it and see as fit. But I don't think doing many more picks in this draft would have made it any better. PFF, again, feel free to grade it as you please, but I love these players, and I honestly love how this ended up playing out. You got really good competition there. So that's going to be the video. Thank you so much for watching. Love you. See you on the far side. Peace.